Well, welcome everybody. I am Ana Maria with Participate Learning, and I am thrilled to be your session host and to be introducing the presenter of the session in just a couple of minutes. A few housekeeping reminders that as we get started. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and put your video on to just create more of a feeling of community in the session. Mute your microphone just to minimize the background noise, and feel free to unmute if you have any questions, especially during the Q&A session. We love for our attendees to engage in a dialogue with the presenter. So always feel free to unmute. If not, if you would rather ask your questions in the chat, go ahead and use the chat feature to ask questions of the presenter throughout the presentation, and then I will make sure that Diego sees them during the Q&A session and will be able to answer those. If you're familiar with Zoom, you know you're also able to use the gallery view, which I personally find that to be fun, to be able to see all the different faces. So go ahead and do that if you also enjoy it. And then use Twitter to share about the using the United We Teach hashtag. If you've been following it throughout the day, you will see, you can catch up with what's been going on in the summit there. Before I introduce the presenter, just a couple of words about Participate Learning. Since 1987, we've been partnering with schools and school districts and teachers from all over the world to promote global learning and just a general appreciation of just cultures through our teacher exchange program, global education, as well as dual language program. The United We Teach community was created about a year ago on March 18th. So we're fast approaching our 1-year birthday. And it was created as a gathering place for teachers from all over the world who were looking to connect with each other and were looking for support during what was definitely going to be a year of teaching like no other during the global pandemic. So this community has now grown to over 1,000 members, and we're connecting with each other in this community, either through the community threads, discussion threads, as well as through our weekly live chats that are happening on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're not yet a member of this community, we encourage you to join, and I'm putting the link to it here, as well as here's the link to the discussion thread, which we encourage you to use throughout the summit, throughout the sessions, to connect with us, Participate Learning, as well as with each other and our presenters. So now I am thrilled to be introducing our next presenter, Diego Rodriguez. He's originally from Colombia and is currently teaching in North Carolina, the United States. There are many interesting things to share about Diego, one of which being that teaching runs in his family, both on his mother side as well as father side. There are lots of teachers, and himself decided to be a teacher when he was in high school. When he was in college, he came to the United States for 3 summers to participate in YMCA programs. And he also lived in Sydney, Australia for 3 years while pursuing his master's degree. Teaching in the United States with Participate Learning was the next challenge that he decided to take on to grow as professionally and personally. And he's now in his 3rd year in the United States with our program. So Diego, we can't wait to hear about your project today, and the floor is yours. Oh, Diego, you're muted. Sorry. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that presentation. It happens one every 100 times. So thank you very much for that introduction. Definitely appreciate, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. And appreciate Participate Learning for the opportunity to share this project that we have been working on for a year. We're about to complete 1 year with this project, and this is a great opportunity to share a little bit about how this project works. So I will start with the name, Oberlin Ciudad Latina project. So we have something that is very important, very unique about our current situation as foreign as exchange teacher is that we have usually for all of us, we have been teaching in our home country, and then we have the opportunity to teach here in the U.S. With that comes with some sort of connections between teachers in Colombia and the places that we have been teaching, and then here in the U.S. So when the pandemic started, just around March, almost about a year ago, uh, I was thinking all the time about, hey, maybe this is a new opportunity to come up with some sort of a way to integrate students from both countries, from the U.S. and Colombia. So in that regard, I managed to get in contact with some of my old colleagues from Colombia, and then we decided to start this project. So Oberlin Ciudad Latina project, um, that's when we started. I wanted to briefly talk about myself. So my name is Diego Rodriguez. I'm originally from Colombia, from Tunja, Boyacá, which is close to the capital city, Bogota, where I finished or I completed my degree, my bachelor's degree, and then I was always connected to a little bit to the here to the U.S. Use over summer camps. That was a great opportunity to learn English in a in a real context, a real immersion. And then I decided to go to Australia for about 3 years to pursue my master's degree. And then I came back, and then I decided this was the right moment to move forward in terms of my career, and then come here to the U.S. As an exchange teacher. So Oberlin Ciudad Latina project. So Oberlin is the school that I'm working on currently. So Oberlin Magnet Middle School. And then we have on the other side, Ciudad Latina, a school in Colombia, both public schools with different, a little bit of different context. But the concept is very simple. It just try to connect a group of students from the US and from Colombia into learning through not only language, but also cultural experiences, as I will be talking a little bit about more. So Oberlin Ciudad Latina, so we have both schools. On my side, on our side, we have the Oberlin Magnet Middle School, and then we have in Colombia, Ciudad Latina School, which is a school located in Soacha, Cundinamarca, which is very close to Bogota, the capital city. Just like Cary and Raleigh, if you know the song here in the triangle. So when, as I was saying, when the pandemic started, I was always thinking about how can we reach our students in the classroom. So this is kind of what you see usually. So you have on one side a group of students that are very motivated, they're ready to go, they're just always pushing for more and more. You have kind of the middle students that, yes, they have some sort of motivation. And then on the other end, you have some students that are maybe not really motivated, or they are not really engaged into the class. So just thinking about those both ends, how to improve the language skills, how to make them more engaged into the classroom or outside of the classroom into the target language. So what is the project about? Like I was saying, the project connects two groups of students, one from Colombia and one from the US. What do they have in common? They're trying to learn each other's language. So people in Colombia, they're practicing English, or they're learning English. People here, students here in North Carolina, they're trying to learn Spanish. So what about getting those groups together into a weekly meet so they can practice? Something very nice and important about this is that they're practicing with people or students the same age. So middle schoolers, so I have 6, 7, and 8 graders, and then they join with some other students from Colombia around the same age. Something important to note is that this is not just about language. I mean, they are practicing language, yes, but also it is definitely impossible to practice language without the culture aspect. So we're also, every time that we have a topic, let's say we're talking about comida, food, then ajiaco will come up like as something very typical from Colombia, very typical from the US. So we're sharing uh, culture all the time. Students a few weeks ago were sharing about tejo. Tejo is a national sport started by the indigenous people in Colombia. So you hold one piece of metal, very heavy, and then you try to throw it all the way around, and then get it into the goal. So it's for students in Colombia sharing that with students in the US. They were so happy to hear about that, so surprised, and that's worth every second that we invest in that project. So it takes the notion of a global school. Here in North Carolina, we're talking all the time about global schools. And this is definitely something that it takes the notion of global school to a new real stage where there's interaction, real interaction. And as you will see later on, is interaction both synchronous and asynchronous, just kind of going in both directions. So not just what we do during the meet, but also you will see that there are some other activities. So we have common objectives, culture and language learning. Yes, definitely they want. Something important to note is that students joining this project, there's no grades in this project. There's no grades. So people joining is because they really want to. They really want to. So if they're there, they have to take some time off school because this is presented as a conversational club. So they have to take time of their own, which is, well, it's not ideal, but that shows that students are willing to join, and they're there because they really want to. So on one side, we have Oberlin Middle School, where I'm teaching right now, Raleigh, here in North Carolina. So this is a middle school. So we have sixth graders, seventh graders, and eighth graders. This is a public school, and this is a school that has a strong Spanish project, also immersion. So we have here a group of right now we have a group of 15 students that are participating in our project. They are always um, present. So every week, as I will talk a little bit about later on, we take 1 hour weekly in order to meet and practice. On the other side, we have Ciudad Latina, Colegio Ciudad Latina School in Soacha, Cundinamarca, very close to the capital city. This is a public school as well, but with a little bit more of challenges, let's say, in terms of connection, sometimes in terms of resources. But this is a great opportunity. Myself, when I was in high school in Bogota, Colombia, I wish I had this opportunity. I was always willing to learn English, but there was no one really to practice, no one that would really wanted to practice or have the enough knowledge to take some time and practice. So this is a public school. Sometimes I have to be honest, we have challenges in terms of connection. Sometimes they have to use their phone. Sometimes they have to go and just put some money so they can get 1 hour or a few hours of internet. While on our side is a little bit different, is a little bit easier. But this is all part of that. This is all part of that experience. Seeing for some students, when the students join and they see some of the background, that's part of the experience, seeing how other students live in different contexts. So in terms of who is involved in this project. On our side, we have the Oberlin Magnet Middle School. We're here in Wake County, so I'm very grateful about the support that I get from Wake County, also from Participate Learning, definitely. The administration, all of these people are involved. Teachers, we have um, Mr. Becerra in our school, and then myself. Also, parents, they need to know obviously what's going on, and students as well. The same on the Ciudad Latina side. In this case, um, the administration, Secretaría de Educación, which is the like education board, teachers, parents, and estudiantes, students as well. So it's not just students and teacher, it's just all of this scaffold that is behind this project. So here, like I was saying, Mr. Becerra and myself, we have right now, this is was at the beginning, we planned to be between 5 and 7 students, just to make sure that they have enough time to share what they want to share, to talk, and to practice. And then on the Ciudad Latina project, we have as well 2 teachers that we closely work with, because I have to be honest, this takes a lot of logistics in terms of, making sure that we find the time. Teachers were busy most of the time, so we need to make sure that we have enough time to make sure that this project keeps going on, happening. So some of the objectives for this project, one is definitely to practice the target language. Again, we have a group of students from Colombia and a group of students from the US here. We presented as a conversational club. So this is something that they can join, just like a sports club, but instead of going for sports, they just going to have conversations at the beginning with students their own age. This is very important because it's not the same, practicing with the teacher than just practicing with peers, students or people their own age. Sharing culture, definitely, that's what we do. We share culture because all the time we're talking about different, traditions, places. Some students sometimes they, especially when they were in holidays and we were still at school, they were, presenting or joining from small towns and different places that they wanted to share. So this is just amazing how, especially very close to Christmas, we're still attending to school. They were already in holidays, but they were willing to connect, to keep connecting, and then showing lights, Christmas lights, and some of the traditions that they have in those places of Colombia. Something that is very important is to be able to take risks in a safe environment. They are just in a Google Meet. There's students that they're in the same situation. They're just trying to learn to master a second language, and then the teachers. So students are able to take risks in terms of talking, and then without any repercussions. They are just able to practice and to take risks. Say a word even if it's not right, and we will keep working on pronunciation and or do our best. In real life, communication is just not perfect. Sometimes you have to go back and ask questions, and that's what it is all about. So learning from each other, definitely. Again, we have students that that's what they have in common. They want to learn each other's language, and then they are both natives in their own languages, so they're trying to practice the target language, and that is a perfect stage for me. At least I've seen this, and I've seen the progress. Like I was saying, we're about to complete 1 year with this project, and I have seen definitely the progress of some of these students, not only in terms of fluency, but also in terms of social relationships. So at the beginning, they were a little bit, shy, afraid to talk, but eventually now they are, talking. And the point of this, one of the objectives of this project as well, is for the teacher to back up as we go. So at the beginning, of course, my role is as a moderator, but then I'm pushing back and back for the students to take control of the project. Of course, I'm there to supervise, but they are eventually the ones that will run the project and the meet. Some of the stages, as I was mentioning before, something important to note is that it takes place in 2 stages. So it's not just about the meet. The synchronous, yes, is a Google Meet where students every Thursday after school, so at 3:10 p.m., we join a Google Meet, and then we have some sort of kind of agenda that we usually work on. There's usually students presentations, so students will talk about one topic. So they'll prepare, let's say, from 30 seconds to 1 minute talking about one topic. It could be anything. It could be something related to what we're working on in class, or any topic that they want to. They suggest topics. Last week we were talking about music. They wanted to talk about music. So they prepare something. So they say something like, they talk about their favorite artists, their favorite kind of music, and everything that they would like to share about that topic. Participation, yeah, is key. Definitely key. Is important in this project. Every student will have the chance to participate in every session. The teacher works as a moderator, so just giving the right, or to see whose turns is to talk. And then that's the main part is made by the students. They are talking and they are sharing about that specific topic. So in order to make it fair for both students, we alternate between English and Spanish. So let's say this week we will do the session in English and the following one in Spanish, just to make sure both students are having the chance to participate and to learn from each other. So in one session, they will feel, very comfortable because is that their native language, and the other one, the point is to get as comfortable as when is their home language. So we use different topics, and then for the second part, as we will see, we use breakout rooms. So since in every session we'll have about 20 students joining. So we try to do breakout rooms for the second part, so they have the opportunity to talk almost one-on-one. So we'll have groups of 3 or 4 students, and they will feel a little bit more comfortable to talk with each other. Like I was saying at the beginning, it was a little bit, challenging still, but after almost 10 months, 11 months, you can see how students are willing to share and willing to talk. That's for the synchronous part, so during the Google Meet. Now, the other part is asynchronous, which we work on using Flipgrid. So every week, since there's a topic, we also allow them to submit one Flipgrid talking about that topic. So it's not just only the meet, but also they can go and take a look on some of the topics, and then just talk about this. Has been amazing. I've seen, again, students in Colombia sharing about the lights during Christmas. Students here in North Carolina going to the mountains and then just kind of sharing a ski resort. We don't really have ski resorts in Colombia that I'm aware of. So just seeing something like that, snow that is not something so usual for us in Colombia. You have to go to to very specific places up in the mountain. But just sharing this, it just opens their mind amazingly. And now we hear comments from students saying, hey, I want to go to Colombia, or hey, I want to go to the US. So, which is amazing. That's what we're trying to do, share culture and share everything that we can. So there's also always questions. So there might be a question that they want to answer. So uh, what do you do during the winter? Any of those questions, and then they can answer using Flipgrid. We can see the how is engaging at the Flipgrid when we see views of these videos up to 200, which is amazing because the group is only 20, 25 students, and then getting views of 200, that means that the students are curious and they want to take a look. Sometimes we have presentation by the students, like a little bit more of a formal presentation with slides. So they share about national parks, they share about New York, about places in Colombia, about our very important places, anything that they find interesting. And this is very important because they share some of the interests about their age. So that's what they share. They share about video games, the video games that are we have seen that is very popular to have around the same kind of video games, the same kind of music. So, and that is great to see. So in terms of topics, we change uh, topics. We use different topics. Some of the topics that we use during the class, but something important to know is that, like in a real conversation, not always, keeps a track. For example, we talk about familia, free time, school, but then at some point the discussion might detour somewhere else, and that's okay as well because that's how real conversations take place. So we were talking about Colombia at some point, and I was sharing, hey, Colombia is right now the second or the third largest producer of coffee. Um, and then we ended up talking about asking some students were wondering, hey, do you drink coffee? And we were like, okay. It was very interesting to see that students like in seven or eighth grade already drinking some coffee. It was a little bit shocking for me, to be honest. But yeah, so we ended up talking about some of the things, which is okay, about uniforms. Students in Colombia, they were sharing that they need to use uniforms. They are required to use uniforms. Here in the US, at least in our school, they don't. So it was interesting to see that discussion in terms of schedules. um, Students in Colombia sharing that they start class at 6:30 in the morning, and the students here, they were shocked to even think about someone starting school at 6:30 in the morning. So that is amazing. Um, Sometimes the division between since there are so many students and not many schools, they have to divide the the time between some students in the morning, some students in the afternoon. So they were very curious. What would you take? Would you take the morning? Would you take the afternoon? So all those ongoing discussions are great as far as we keep working in a normal conversation. That is what happens. Politics, a little bit of politics, um, food, definitely, animals, music, all of those topics have been taking place in our project. So some of the activities that we also do, and I find them very interesting and very engaging, we do a school tour. So here I had to do it because students are not able to, at the time, were not able to go to school. So I went around the school, showing them, like the lockers and every single thing that they found interesting. Such a big auditorium, um, football field, and then they were asking questions. Hey, how do you see this? This is looks like the movies, so on and so on. So it was great, and I think it was a unique opportunity, other than movies, to see a school, the way our school looks like, and ask questions. So they were asking questions about this. Also, every teacher has a room, which is not the case in Colombia. In Colombia, students rotate, not teachers. So that was very interesting. They were asking so many questions. I prepared that for 1 hour. I ended up almost 2 hours, and then they were still asking questions. So something important also is guests. I try to invite people, special people that speaks English and Spanish, and kind of to show them the importance of, how you can, you will be able to do this. This is the right time to, keep it up, keep going, keep practicing. We had Amelia Smith from Participant Learning. That was amazing. She was sharing how she started, working on her Spanish when she was around the age of the students. So students were asking questions, and something so um, close to see someone that is from North Carolina, and she was able to speak, both languages, Spanish and English. They were just amazed, and they were very happy to have Amelia as a guest. So that was great. So we tried to, invite people to talk about, their learning process, and also about different places, Mexico, any Spanish speaking country, or anywhere in general. Sometimes we also use games. Right now they are interested in Scribble. We're using Scribble, and they really enjoy doing that. That was a student that suggested, hey, why don't we do this? And I say, hey, this is your project, so this is for you. So you are an active part of this project. So definitely we have done it a few times, and then they really enjoy that part. And then also for exchange programs, we try to, talk about some opportunities that are there, and sometimes we don't know, but they're there for students on both sides. Right now, because of our current situation, is a little bit difficult, but yeah, there are opportunities there for students on both sides. Wondering about how a typical session look like. So we have a typical session will be 1 hour long. It's very important. I try to keep it to 1 hour just to keep their engagement. And then just to be fair, I mean, they have been in school all day, and then, yeah, just 1 hour, I think is enough, and have been working very well. So we have a warm-up activity. So sometimes it's good things. That's something that we don't usually do in Colombia, but that's a great cultural feature to share good things. Sometimes a question, sometimes a short presentation, sometimes a video, like the case of Tejo, our national sports. So sharing time, students share talking about the topic for 30 seconds to 1 minute. So that's the first part. They prepare and they share for about 30 seconds to 1 minute. And then sometimes when we do the second part for the breakout rooms, where students are able to talk in a smaller group. For feedback, it is very important, the feedback, because this is something that we're building. This is not something that we expect to be perfect, but we need the feedback from students to keep improving our project. It has changed over time, and yeah, definitely that it's been great because of this feedback that we have been receiving from students and from teachers. So with this feedback, we have been working on new activities, proposing activities. We used to do some sort of games, but it took too long, and there was not enough time. So we have been making changes, and our project has changed quite a bit since we started in March last year. But definitely working on those 4 skills: speaking, writing, listening, and reading, in a very informal way, just a conversational club. So it's not a class, there's no grades, and it's just a time for students to, sit down and share, talk what they really like practicing foreign language. And I would like to present you, well, some of the students' perspective. You have heard what I have been saying, but also it is important to share some of the students' perspectives.
Hi, I'm in the Oberlin Ciudad Latina project, and I was just going to talk a little bit about what it's like in the general aspects of it. First, we do it every Thursday at 3 in the U.S. time, or North Carolina Eastern Central time, I think it is, and 2 in Colombian time. And we just meet for about an hour to talk. We can ask questions. We usually have a topic each time to discuss. But I think in general, this is like a 1 in a million chance for us to just learn some more about their culture and just make friends with people who are learning a language just like us, even if we are not speaking the same or not fluent in the same language. This is an amazing cultural opportunity and just an amazing opportunity to get better at Spanish and just embrace the culture more. So I'm really glad to be part of it, and I'm really glad to be spreading this out to more people because it's just something that we need. It's the way to learn a language is to learn the culture and speak it. Hola, estoy en el Oberlin Ciudad Latina proyecto este año y el año pasado. Este proyecto es una oportunidad increíble porque podemos hablar con otras estudiantes de Colombia que hablan español y están aprendiendo inglés. Y podemos aprender sobre Colombia y su cultura al mismo tiempo. Espero con ansias nuestras reuniones todos los jueves que duran aproximadamente 1 hora. Ojalá esto se extienda a más escuelas y se hagan más grande. Gracias por escuchar.
Okay, muy bien. So, okay, we'll have a second one just to...
Hello, I am Hannah Castillo. I am 13 years old. I'm from Colombia. I live in Suacha. I study at Ciudad Latina School and I am 8th grade. In this program, I have felt very good. It has helped me a lot and I like it. The activities proposed by teachers and classmates and will not think it. Thank you and bye. Hello, I am Hannah.
Hi, my name is Karen Manrique and I am part of the Oberlin Ciudad Latina project. I really like my experience in the project since it has allowed me to meet people from the other cultures and interact with them to learn a new language in a more practical way. In addition to the fact that the environment is pleasant and they make us feel confident and not feel good we were wrong. Hola, mi nombre es Karen Manrique y hago parte del proyecto de Oberlin y Ciudad Latina. Este proyecto me ha brindado la oportunidad de conocer una cultura distinta y a personas con las cuales puedo interactuar para aprender un nuevo idioma. Algo que me gusta mucho de este proyecto es que el aprendizaje es mutuo, entonces a medida que ellos aprenden, nosotros también estamos aprendiendo, lo cual me da como una seguridad a la hora de equivocarme. De mi parte y consideraría que parte de mis compañeros estamos en este proyecto porque en serio nos gustó y nos abrió como esa puerta a querer aprender inglés. Hi, my name is Karen Manrique.
The last one.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and I am one of the members for the Oberlin project. I would first like to say how great of an opportunity it is for me to be inside this club because it develops my conversational skills with other people. The reason for that is because I get to speak Spanish with people from foreign countries that actually speak the same language, and that will be really beneficial for my conversations, and I can actually use it, like I can apply it to real life. Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity, not just for us, but I think it's a great opportunity for the people who are all the people who are contributing to the Oberlin project, because who the people who are actually talking to are actually also benefiting, because we do sessions from Spanish to English. Um, yeah, so we also speak English.
So it's very important to share also the perspective of the students in order to have um, like their view, which is very important in this project. So this project started as a pilot project, which took place from April to June. We saw how wonderful it was, so we continue with working on it up till today. We had some announcements, recruitment. We have to create the world language, and then we have been working on those weekly meetings ever since, alternating Spanish and English, as I commented before. Flipgrid as a synchronous complement, and then the point is still as a goal, but is to issue an invitation from a student from Ciudad Latina and say, hey, maybe you were participating in this project. What about having the opportunity to join us here in a Wake County school? We're still working on it, but that is our goal or objective. So some of the project's findings, language interactions, there's definitely in every session genuine motivation. We can see again that students joining is because they want to. There's no grade, so they don't have to be there unless they want to. Sensory engagement. So it's not just about what you hear, what you see in the backgrounds. You're learning with every single thing that they see or share. Sharing culture. We always talking about different topics. Um, Curiosity, they are there because they want to know. They ask questions are part important of the essential part of this project. Social interaction, definitely they're all the time creating connections with another group of students same age in a different country. Fluency development, I can see how, taking a look back in when we started and now see the how students are able to to talk from the back of their heads, and then just to be more willing or willing a little bit more to talk. It has been great. Social economical awareness, they can see that they don't have exactly the same socio-economical context. They see they struggle a little bit more to join the meet, so that is very important. Even when it's not the main feature, you can see that. In terms of geopolitics, they can say during the summer the times changes. So there's 1 hour difference between Colombia and the U.S. So that is also important to show and to keep in mind. Right now we have the same time. That's great, but it's important to see how something as simple as what time the sun goes down here in the U.S. in Colombia. They're sharing all the time about all these kinds of stuff. So global school, definitely, like I was saying at the beginning, this takes this this project makes a part of for a really global school, where students are able to connect with real people from another country. So this is definitely a project that will take the global school to a next level. And then as a growing opportunity, the point of this being here with you guys today is about sharing this. Maybe you might be curious, or you might want to start something like this, which would be great. The whole point is to expand this project so other students and lots of students have the opportunity to join and do something like this. I have to be honest, it takes a lot of efforts in terms of logistics. You need to find someone, a teacher that you can rely on in the Colombian side, or in your home country, to someone to be able to willing to take the time every week. So, but it's worth it. It's worth every second of the way. So yeah, so thank you very much. I was trying to see if Ms. Chavez is here to share a little bit from the Colombian side. So if she's here, that's fine, because it would be great to hear also the Colombian side. But otherwise, yeah, thank you very much. Gracias. And then I will be putting in the chat a link if you're interested in attending as a guest to some of our to one of our meets. Yeah, you'll be more than welcome to join and see, take a look from firsthand, and then maybe start something like this in your school if that's the case.
Thank you, Diego. Thank you so much. Excellent presentation, fantastic ideas. We really appreciate you sharing your project with all of us. There have been a couple of questions that have been coming in through the chat throughout your presentation. So if you would like to ask those questions live, feel free to unmute yourselves now and go ahead and ask them. If not, I'm also happy to pass those on to Diego. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to unmute if you would like to ask them live.
Diego, congratulations for the project that you're working on. I really like it. I mean, it's amazing how you are, connecting the Colombian people with the American people, and not just connecting them through the language, but also connecting them culturally and understanding the cultural of each country, which is very different. As Latin American, our culture is totally different, and we are learning from each other, and that's amazing, the connection that you're doing with the student from Colombia and the student from the United States. Thank you for sharing with us this valuable information.
Thank you very much, Hector. If you are interested in taking a look of this, being a guest in our meet, I just put a link just to send some information, and I'll be inviting you if you would like to take a look of the project and maybe start your own if that's something that you would like to.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that link. We'll make sure to put it in the link to the form. We'll make sure to put it in the United We Teach community too, so that people can access it after the summit. Anybody else would like to unmute and ask Diego a question? If not, I have my list that I've been accumulating over the session. Libni was wondering about students' attendance and whether or not it has been persistent throughout the year.
Oh yeah, definitely. So some of the students, I cannot say 100% of the students, but for some of them, I have at least 7 or 8 students that have been joining pretty much to every single session. Some of them, because of there's so many things going on. Sometimes they have another projects, sports clubs, of different activities. But I've seen students trying to join even from the car, going on the way somewhere, and then they just connect from their phone because they really want to be there. But a good 80% are solid students on the US side and in the Colombia side, as well as just a few percentage, like 10%, that they just join every once and now. But we have a firm, at least 80% of the students joining almost every single session.
Thank you, Diego. And Adriana was also wondering if whole classes were involved, or if this was something more like an elective activity or small group activity. So it sounds like it was, because it was a club, it was an elective small group activity. Is that correct?
Yeah, so trying to reach some of those students that we cannot reach during the class because all of that, they're pushing for more, they really want to get more. So, but it's totally voluntary. I just make the announcements, and then students willing to join, they just get into it. But no grades and totally voluntary.
And Sandra was wondering if the students receive any kind of feedback from their peers or from teachers throughout all these activities.
Yeah, definitely. Feedback is, like I was saying, is very important part of our project. Yeah, sometimes something great to see is that they try to help each other. So when sometimes they're not coming up with the words, well, I'm there also to assess, but I can see them trying to really understand what they're saying. So they help each other. That, for me, that's amazing. I try to intervene the least possible. they are the main characters in this story. So I try to push back unless they want to. When they call me, hey, teacher, how do you say this? I jump into it, but otherwise I try to keep back.
Yeah, and there's so much learning, right? Even on the side of those teachers who do intervene to help out, I'm sorry, of those students who intervene to help out the other student who may be at a loss for a word. Yeah, that's wonderful. Cynthia was wondering how you choose the topics to be discussed and if the topics are chosen by the students or by you, the teacher.
So at the beginning, I was choosing the topics, just some related to the topics that we're working on during class. But after a few sessions, when everything started kicking out, I started receiving suggestions. So they wanted to talk about music. So the topics nowadays, they choose the topics because it's their project.
They're in the driver's seat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Adriana was wondering if this is a year-long, quarter-long project, how you structure it that way.
Oh, wow, we try to take advantage of time as much as possible. We have to keep in mind the difference between our holidays and the Colombian holidays. But like I said, students, even up to Christmas, almost up to Christmas, students were willing to join. Even when they finished school already in Colombia, they were really wishing to join. So the only time that we don't take is during the summer, our summer here, because, well, it's not fair for them, but we try to take advantage of the differences. So trying to take advantage of every second that we have. We started on this year on January the 7th. Even when they're still in holidays, they were willing to join, and students here were willing to join just as a normal school week. So
that's amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
And are you teaching in person? Gloria was wondering that too, or is it a hybrid situation?
Hybrid situation. So right now I have most of my students are online, but I still have a good number of students attending to the classroom.
And Diego, this is just a personal curiosity of mine. How do you encourage those students who may be a little bit hesitant to speak with others in the language that they're learning?
Yeah, just reminding them that everyone there is the same. They're in the same situation. They're native of one language, but they're trying to practice the one. But whenever they're not, whenever they're hesitant, I'm right there when they don't know how to say this, and I help them. And also we keep kind of an open line for kind of office hours so they can send messages saying, hey, I'm not sure how to say this. Sometimes they send me an audio saying, hey, I'm not sure about the pronunciation. I'm not confident about this. And I will give them feedback for them to feel a little bit more comfortable.
That's wonderful. That says a lot about your relationship with your students. I'm originally from Romania, so I learned English there. And in high school, I had a couple of teachers from the United States, and sometimes I would run into them downtown or outside of school settings. And I remember my heart beating really, really fast as I was seeing them, because I knew I would have to speak English to them, and I was petrified. So sometimes when I knew they hadn't seen me, I would cross the street so that they, I wouldn't run into them. I would go through all of these things just so that I could avoid speaking the language, because it can be really scary. So, and it takes courage to open up. So congratulations to you and to your students for this amazing project.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for sharing about your experience with us. We appreciate you. And we hope to see you later in the community, and we'll make sure to post some of the links that you shared in there as well in the discussion thread. Now, a couple of reminders before we let you all go. Remember that you are always welcome. If you would like to earn a badge for your participation in the summit, you can go to the community and then navigate to the courses tab in here, and then click on this reflections course, submit a very brief feedback on your experience, as well as a couple of your takeaways, and then this badge will be yours. We already have a few people who have earned their badges already and are posting about it on social media. So I hope if you do earn the badge that you will share it there. And if you would like to have a certificate that shows the number of hours for your attendance today for your CUs, we're happy to give that to you. There are details in the course about who you should email me to get that certificate, and then continue to connect with us in the United We Teach Virtual Summit, which of course you can also access from the community. And with that, the one last thing that I would share is that if you would like to learn more about Participate Learning or about our programs, go ahead and visit our website. And we appreciate your time today, and we thank you for coming. Diego, of course, thank you again for all the time that you've put in to prepare and to share about your experience.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you in the next few sessions. Bye-bye.